My name is Wei Koh. Welcome to Is Watch Journalism Dead? Collectors versus journalists versus influencers. Let me take you back in time to the old-timey days where I would have to go to Basel Fair and walk around. Oh, sorry, do we have to take the photograph first?
Can you just stand up one line, please? One more. All right, bye.
Land of the 15 franc sausages, you would have to walk around, take notes as someone was talking, take out your medium format camera, put the hood over your head, and actually take photographs of watches. Go back, think about it, write a story, develop your pictures, and put together something called a magazine. Yes, I know many of you have never heard of this, but now we have something called social media, and that has proliferated the capacity for opinions to be shared in milliseconds. Love each other a little bit too much. Adrian, every time I see a YouTube video, every time I see an Instagram post, especially by Audemars Piguet, right? There are people just losing their minds, just going crazy in terms of yelling, screaming, whatever. Why do you think this passion, this métier, provokes such passion, both negative and positive?
So I agree with everything that's kind of being said, but I feel like it comes from a different. I personally don't like the press trips. They piss me off because I could shoot a video in a couple of hours at home, but now I have to spend 3 days traveling somewhere. It's a waste of time. I don't care that much about wine. But I also agree that we're all on the same team. We all need each other. I'm quite gobby on my channel, and I have the freedom to be able to say what I want, but that isn't going to be for everyone's taste. And the industry is a very traditional industry. It likes things to be just so, or that's been done for decades. And I feel like that's where the journalism has this different level, topics in a different way. I speak from a viewpoint of just how I see things, as opposed to trying to be an authority on a certain topic or trying to come at something with a perfectly analytical viewpoint. I have my biases. I love sports watches over dress watches, so that's always going to be my thing. But I do feel like we need each other. We need the high-end collectors, because I want to talk about this shit. I want to talk about this stuff because I love it. I'm never going to be in the ballpark to own this sort of stuff, but I'd love to get hands-on with it. And for me, that's the payoff. I'm willing to do the traveling if it means I can get hands-on, cover that stuff, which then means someone who has the cash to then buy it keeps this ecosystem going. So I agree about reducing the activity of press trips. However, I feel like it comes from a different viewpoint that actually, if we want the brands to continue, we need more people buying it. Completely agree that then perhaps reduces the sexiness of it, the luxury of it, because it then means the Nautilus, for example, beautiful watch, far too widely spoken about, and it's lost that sexiness because of that. So I agree, but I feel like it comes from a different viewpoint.
Everyone is being so super nice. Can I be the asshole of the bunch? I'm gonna ask you guys a question. I'm wearing 2 watches. One is a David Cando, the other one is an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Tourbillon in platinum with a baguette bezel, maybe a handful of these maids. If I post this on Instagram today versus this, which one gets more clicks? It's going to be the AP. If I look at the technology behind, I'm not gonna blow up AP, it's actually my favorite brand. Aesthetically, I love the brand. But from a horological perspective, which one gets more praise? The David Cando, right? The problem is this, is the world of journalism, what's a journalist supposed to do? They're supposed to come. What is an influencer? I am somebody that is going to put out a piece of media, 9 out of 10 is a piece of social media, and I'm going to influence the masses to do what? To purchase it. In my case, I'm a watch dealer. My sole purpose, I never dubbed myself an influencer. I inadvertently became one. Why? Because in order to take my business to the next level and to change the usual marketing that we used to do, whether it's printing in magazines and then later on pay-per-click for Google or Facebook ads, we now have an ability to have an organic way to drive eyes to the product that we sell, and we sell a variety of products. So I'm not biased. I want to sell every single one that's listed on my website. But if you strictly look at an influencer, somebody that makes a living of creating content, be it on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube, and they all pay, what are you going to do? You're going to post one that gets most clicks. So if you're an influencer that's trying to make money, you're going to post this Audemars Piguet because you'll get 10x clicks than this. That's where the bias comes in. Journalists, magazines, you guys get paid to publish articles. That's the truth. And at the end of the day, you deserve to get paid because I know it's not very cheap to run a magazine. I know it's not cheap to run a media company. I have 8 media personnel in my company, and I'm not a media company. I'm a watch dealer. It costs money. So for those that's what Vasu said, hey, you guys all getting paid to write this stuff, and rightfully so, you should. But I will agree with Vasu on one thing. All these fancy parties, all these other things, for a collector like him to go out there, and I know the medium price range he shops in, to go see his watch in the secondary market on my website to now sell for less than 40% than what he paid, that's a pain in the ass. Won't mention any names, but you'll know who I'm talking about. A watch comes out, they spend 5 to 6 years in R&D creating this watch. I don't know how much money that costs to a brand, but it costs a lot. I would rather see them take that $5 million that it cost them over 5 journalists and influencers, everybody else, and fly everybody in. I'd rather forgo that model and spend that money, perhaps protecting your stuff in auction. And that's my issue.
Actually, I completely agree. Actually, very easy, right? François Paul Journe. Everyone knows François Paul Journe, right? Correct? You know, it's funny because in Singapore, all the guys, I love the person too, but all the guys that I know that were crazy about Richard Mille, like 2 years ago, now all want François Paul Journes. Do they know how the watch works? They have no fucking idea how the watch works, right? But they just want it because it's the thing to have now. And then Hublot, but no watchmaking credibility. So as a journalist, I feel it's important to talk about the things that are hard to talk about, that people don't want because it's not a popular opinion, but actually has, from my perspective, great integrity. The guy who made this movement, again, was one of the guys who worked on the Rolex in-house Daytona movement, right? So he knows how to make an efficient movement. His name is Christophe Linaire. This movement has 2 rows of Liga teeth to eliminate chronograph backlash, to eliminate a traditional spring jumper. But again, we need to raise the level a little bit so people actually have an understanding of watchmaking, to then understand why.
Anything negative about any watch out there when there's definitely absolute dogs that have come into the market, that's the problem. There's no credibility left for me when I'm reading every single article, every single video is nothing but fucking roses and puppies. Like, no, like the AP code 1159 was dog shit when it launched. Like, somebody needed to say that, and nobody wants to say it. And I think the problem, like in any other industry, in my industry, I run a venture capital firm. If a journalist wants to interview me, I can't even offer to pay for their lunch. I've tried, and they're like, there's no way we can accept a free meal from you because it could influence the way in which I will write about you. Right? Shit, you're being taken on 5-star cruises and getting fed caviar and champagne. Like, how are you ever gonna say anything negative about a brand that's just wined and dined you? And to me, that is the issue with all of it, is it's just impossible to stay objective if they're the ones, I don't know what the answer is, but like, we've got a problem.
So I agree again and disagree. So yes, there's trips, and yes, I completely understand. So I don't think watch journalism is dead, but I feel like the trust is dead. You can no longer view any sort of content, whether it's from a journalist, whether it's an Instagram post from a collector. We can't look at that and trust 100% this is legitimate organic content, this person loves this product, or why they're being paid for it. To go back to the point about the trips, yes, you can go on these trips, be in 5-star hotels, go on these, I've never been on a cruise, go have these fancy dinners and not say anything nice about it, because our time is worth more than that. So I would charge a brand, if I was to do a paid video, I would charge a brand significantly more than the cost of that. And it's also wasting my time. I don't want to go on this wine tasting course or go off for this mission partner and my kids. I want to be in my studio shooting content. So it is all a pain in the ass. And the business flights, it's a little bit of a cherry on the top to say, please come and see this product. But at no point do I guarantee that I'm going to make content on that product. I can still walk away and say, nah, it's a bit crap. And I've done it quite a few times. If I could touch on the journalism bit, I feel like there's still this line blurred between I don't class myself as an influencer, but I'm happy to carry that badge. My background is in learning development and teaching people, corporate teaching and presenting. And that was my exact approach at getting into watches, was I have all of this information, I do all of this research before I buy a product. I shouldn't just have it in my head. Let's get this out and put it out in the world. And it's got out of hand a bit, granted. But that was the motivation to start off with. And I feel like it's often seen that an influencer or new media or so credibility behind that. I have all of those sources that you spoke about, and they're sources. I have watchmakers who I pay to fact check things that I talk about. So although my personal branding might be relaxed and I don't have the cachet of a large publication behind me, there's still that credibility. It costs a lot of money to run my operation.
And that word credibility,
that we bring to the client when we create a piece of content. In my case, it's education. What am I influencing the user on the other side to do? And I'm very clear and vocal about it. I want them to buy the stuff that I'm selling. So I am talking about physical product that I have. The credibility with me comes from, again, the amount of knowledge I have in the world and the experience that I've had in the world. But at the same token, it's the dollar signs. The biggest issue that the industry is facing still till this day, post the COVID craze, is the fact the majority of collectors see dollar signs first and they see opinions second, if you will. Unico movement, thanks to my little friend across the pond, who should be joining us later, you know, all of a sudden Hugo got a bad rep, but yet there's plenty of innovative stuff they have done and will continue doing in terms of designs. People have asked me about iconic watches, and I tell them, oh, you know what? I think the Jacob & Co. 5 time zone watch that cost $12 to produce when he first came out is one of the most iconic watches. Not cultural perspective. Same with the Big Bang. The first Big Bang that came out, the horology, it was nothing to write home about, but it came out at the time when things were bigger and better, and guess what? It revolutionized the world once again, even though the movement was shit, right? Doesn't mean it's shit today. But let me give you the wake-up call. Today, 9 out of 10 collectors that are out there, they're no longer reading magazines, they're no longer reading logs. The attention span is this big. You know what they do? They go to ChatGPT. Where does ChatGPT feed from? You ever ask ChatGPT something and then look at the sources? And guess what? He's a source, we're a source, they're a source, everybody is a source. And now, because the attention span is so small, AI has become a huge enemy of ours in terms of getting the actual truth. Because it's opinions, and it's opinions that are biased, because these are opinions that are paid for. I have been offered cruises and first class tickets. I've never taken $1 for my brand because I don't want to feel like I owe anybody anything. I pay my own way anywhere that I. But the enemy today is going to be ChatGPT, and we as journalists and influence, if you want to call them that, we have a responsibility because AI will feed off everything that we write, and if it's biased and paid for, it's going to end up being shit. So I have to agree with what Vasu posted on his Instagram, and I could not wait for this freaking panel because I said, oh, this is going to be great.
So, right. They're not looking for the journalists to really give you the details of what they think. They want them to tell you what they think, and they're just using their views and their likes and their platform to amplify their message.
But what is the difference then?
I give the facts, I give the education in an amount of time I deem feasible to where the attention span may be, but I also talk about pricing. I will tell you, hey, this watch may not hold great value, but at least in a secondary, you're gonna get a wonderful deal for it. Guess who I call when, I called him the other day. I looked at the Vianney collab with Messina Lab. I know William, 20 years, we go back to Antiquarian. You know who the first person I called to influence me? I called him.
What do you say?
He said, it's too large for me. I like the watch. Value is decent. If you like it, I think you should
that
buy it.
actually has gone on a lot of these trips, as I think I'm the oldest person in the room, probably more than anyone else, right? Who has gone on the flights and stayed at the hotels and drank the champagne and all that. When I get an invitation from a brand today, do you know what the emotion I feel is? It fills me with rage. Because all I fucking want to do is sit on the couch with my dogs and my wife, but I have to truck my ass out and go to another time zone and any of you guys who have gone to Watches and Wonders, how do journalists actually feel about being invited to these dinners after a full day? It fucking sucks ass, bro. Like, all you want to do is go to bed, right? Like,
But before they answer that, I want to, if you ever wrote something negative about a
Yes.
brand that took you, would they invite you back the next year, or do you think that your access would be gone?
so this is where, this is actually a very important question, and I think at the crux of the matter, is it important as a journalist to write negative things, right? Is it important to critique, right? Ask the audience to as well. From my perspective, I have taken a conscious stance not to say anything shitty about a brand. Why? Because if it's good, I'm going to write about it, and I'm going to really like it. If I don't like it, someone else can write about it. That's fine, but I won't write about it. You know, and I won't talk about it because my mom always told me, if you don't have nothing good to say about someone, don't say anything at all. The other thing too, and it's not about the brand or whatever, this industry has given me everything, right? This industry has given me my community, my great friendships, my livelihood, and my passion for this. And all of these watches that we talk about, including the Code 1159, are made by people that I know, right? And who are friends. And I don't think anyone set out to say, hey bro, let's try to make the shittiest watch possible. Let's get together and whatever we can do, let's like try to destroy every aesthetic code we possibly can. Okay, true. With the exception of the Donald Trump tourbillon, right? Code 1159, like, to me, it wasn't that the watch was terrible, right? The case actually was good. The dials were not great, and everyone knows that. They know that too.
Not great. It was
No,
terrible.
the reason why that launch was so bad was because they said it was good, right? In the videos that they made, it was like, this is the greatest thing that we have achieved since 1972. You don't get to say it's great. The public, the buyers, the consensus of journalists and other ones get to say it's great. So it came off as tremendously arrogant. And also, as a journalist, right, you guys may not remember this, they decided when they launched that watch, they were going to give one media the scoop on that, and everyone else would just have to wait. And that one media was Hodinkee, right? So if you're going to give my competitor the scoop on something, I'm not going to defend you. So now you're out there, you're twisting in the wind because people are savaging you. And I could say, actually, the case is great. Look at the mid cases. Actually, some of the skeletonized lugs, those are really cool. Did we not miss the fact that these are all powered by in-house movements, which have been completely missing from AP? And can I also say the perp cal actually is kind of nice, right? But why would I do that if you've already, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's really hard for someone to say that watch is objectively horrific, except for, okay, the Donald Trump tourbillon.
I sold 6 of them last month.
The Donald Trump tourbillon?
No. The Code 1159s.
Well, he actually likes the Code 1159. He bought one, right?
The new ones are not bad, but like they basically pumped that fucking launch up for 6 months, right?
Yes.
Then it got leaked, of course. Then they messaged people like, you gotta take this shit down. And then they launch, and these things look like Michael Kors.
The problem with that watch was not a watch issue, it was an arrogance issue. That ultimately was the
But what about the fact that they came out around the time when Audemars Piguet was just Royal Oak?
Yeah, they were.
When you have the Royal
How's that
Oak,
really
you try
fundamentally
to,
changed?
that's also took him. I'm going to quote what Basu said. Oh, you guys spent 7 years and this is what you came up with? And I agree with that, but I also like the Code 1159. But my definition of a good watch, being a commerce person, is, hey, they're selling for me, and guess what? They were when they first came out, and they are still selling till this day. So there are those that like it, there are those that dislike it.
Yeah, but are they selling because they force you to buy them to buy a Royal Oak?
That's what no, they're selling, for me, they're selling on a secondary, and they're selling at a discount, right? So I look at success rate of a model. There's stuff that sits in my safe that, you know, they're gonna have to bury me with that stuff because it just doesn't sell, right? There's some dogs out there that don't sell without mentioning names. But so long as I look at my numbers, and I'm a big numbers guy, and I look at AP sales overall, last year, 28.8 million sales. Out of that, close.
More frustrating is not when a watch comes out and you know you don't love it. It's when a watch comes out and it's almost awesome, but then it's not, right? And one of those watches, unfortunately for me, even though I love the watch, it's the Georges Farjaco of Zenith. Why? It's very simple, right? Don't get me wrong, the watch it's an amazing watch in many ways, but this is where from my perspective, they got it wrong. Every single collector today wants to have that three-hand spiritual independent watch. There are a lot of them on the stage right here. It's that watch that someone is making only in the moonlight where they're using their hands to black polish it, right, as they're chanting to themselves Gregorian chants or whatever. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Unicorn horn.
Yes, like the watch you're wearing on your wrist. So those watches are the ones that like everyone wants, but they're very limited because not everyone can get them. But no major brand has really responded to that and saying, hey, there's this in spirit. The Zenith Observatory caliber has amazing credibility. They used to crush it in the observatory trials back in the day, right? To put that inside of a contemporary three-hand round watch with a Gonfa enamel dial, it's amazing. They should have just made that freaking thing in steel, spent okay, incidentally, for those of you who are impressed by inner angles, this is how you achieve an inner angle watchmaking. You take 100 Swiss francs, You give it to a person who's going to make that inner angle for you, and it takes them 1 hour. So that's what it costs, 100 Swiss francs for an inner angle. So I wouldn't be blown away by that. It's a choice.
Journalism we need on a daily basis, not just during this pandemic.
Okay, so I would have spent 100 Swiss francs to put one beautiful inner angle on the balance bridge or whatever like that, and you would have a watch that would be kicking the ass of all these spiritual three-hand watches, because first, it's accessible, second, from a movement perspective, it has incredible credibility, and third of all, it's affordable, right?
2 hands. Do you agree? I'll mention a brand. I went to visit them yesterday, Blancpain. If you take a Blancpain and you dissect it from top to bottom, whether it's a 3-hand watch or an annual calendar or perpetual calendar, and you look at the finishes on every single part, literally dissect the entire watch, it has all the makings of any of the independents that you see here. They have plenty of innovations on there. They have a lot of firsts on their plate. I mean, shit, they made a watch for Marilyn Monroe. But if you take that watch, and again, and I go to my Instagram, and I post this AP, and we know where this tourbillon is made and who makes it and what it costs, and I take a Blancpain and I put it on my Instagram, this is gonna get 1 million likes and Blancpain is gonna get 3. That's the problem. And that's where journalism should kick in to say, let me take the labels off, let me take the hype off, let me break down the watches and erase the brand name.
The irony, actually, is that Blancpain is having a moment, but it's the stuff that was made when Beaver took it over in the 80s all the way through, I think, 91 when he sold it to Swatch Group. And bear in mind, that stuff is amazing. It's kind of like the Breguet stuff that the Chaumet brothers and Daniel Roth did from 1975 to 1988. It's insane how good that stuff is, right? So there are pockets and communities that respond to this stuff as well. And it's up to us. Like, sometimes you have to post stuff that doesn't get the likes. It's kind of like, if you want to be a good actor, right, what's the important thing about it, right? 1 superhero movie, 1 Oscar movie. 1 superhero movie, 1 Oscar movie. So you have to do the generalist shit from time to time, and then you got to do the serious shit from time to time, and accept the fact that it's not going to be popular. Shah Rahman?
I'm going to have to leave. I'm ready through criticism. IWC, Oris, Christopher Ward, Breitling, it's all through me. Glasuit Original, it's all through me criticising their product and saying it should have been done this way, they should change this bit to whatever. And they've all come back and said, thanks so much for the feedback. And it's those brands. Omega, don't talk to me. I absolutely love the brand, but I criticise them and they get hurt by the criticism. And so I completely understand the skepticism, but it isn't always true. And I say I'm into my cameras, and I rarely see a camera review where I trust it. But the opposite is actually often true.
Is that a
What is the name of the creator of Grand Seiko Spring Drive? And it's a multiple choice, so that's easy. You can close your eyes and choose which one you want.
Akio Naito, Yoshikazu Hane, Masatoshi Motegi. No one's passing? Okay, let's go for that.
Okay, question number 2. What country is Max Busser's mother's family from?
Yes. Akio Naito is the current CEO, and Masatoshi Motegi created the spring drive sonoring and the repeater. Number 2, India. India. Exactly.
Let's go, baby. Let's stop belling.
Number 3, do we
Agree with both that and what was said earlier about it being to educate. I don't think we're there to educate. I think we're there to be honest, transparent, and to entertain. That's how I see my job.
Entertainment.
Report, yeah.
That's as simple as it gets. You report. Without being biased.
I didn't introduce myself, by the way. I'm Astrid Wendland from Miss Tweed.
Anyone else want to get into this? Or guys, thank you so much, Astrid. Thank you so much. Please join us tomorrow. Only the strong will survive.
Good morning, Geneva, and the weather is lovely. Last evening there was a rainbow, and today we just have this lovely weather, and it's nice and cool.
Voilà, ceux qui ne voient pas l'objectif ne sont pas sur la photo. Voilà, un grand sourire ici. On va en faire plusieurs à cause des yeux fermés. Voilà, et tout le monde les mains en l'air, s'il vous plaît. Voilà. Un grand merci et bonne journée.
On sera suivi ensuite d'un panel avec ces messieurs. Et je me réjouis beaucoup de les entendre sur l'impact en fait du Grand Prix d'horlogerie de Genève.
How I see. Well, this is what I think Scottish watches should be more like this on your video YouTube channel.
More of these guys, less of us.
Less of look. He's not happy.
It's like threatening violence.
But how cool do you look?
I'm protecting myself.
Okay, guys, this is Scottish watches. Aren't they cool?
Kind of.
Just chilling out at the main venue at the Geneva Watch Days, and I've come into this room with the artisans, and there are some examples of watchmaking. So I'm going to turn the camera because this is cool. So this is very nice. I can see Salita on the wall there, and Mac. And but let's take a look at what we have here. Oh, brilliant. That's okay. This is fabulous.
Hands are shaking too much.
I can see.
That will be for the best stuff?
Yeah.
J'ose pas forcément.
Ouais, on travaille vraiment à deux mains, c'est-à-dire qu'on pose tout ce qu'on peut pour vraiment être stable. Là, vous êtes poussé.
Ah, mais je peux pousser maintenant. J'essaie encore de tirer, mais.
Ça ne va pas se faire.
Ok.
C'est du plastique ou de l'acier.
Ah bon.
Look how difficult this is. I know, it's so difficult. You're doing very well.
No, not at all. Some difficulties to aim.
This is very good. This is very good.
Bon, il n'y a pas de vocation.
Let me show you these guys.
C'est impossible. Parce que si vous touchez à ça, ça fait des gros réglages. Et en gros, si vous êtes par exemple là, vous êtes à moins 10, même si moi je pousse, il y a moyen que je pousse même trop, même si c'est un tout petit peu. Ce qui fait que on va passer de par exemple moins 10 à plus 5 ou plus 10 à peu près. Et pour vraiment faire un tout petite retouche, vous allez prendre la vis et aller soit vous diriger vers le moins, soit vous diriger vers le plus. Et là, on va se diriger vers le plus pour faire une toute petite retouche, mais il faut à peine tourner en fait. Oh là là.
Il faut avoir la pratique.
Ah, c'est sûr, mais en fait, vous pouvez
pratiquer souvent.
Il faut.
Allez,
je vais juste vérifier si c'est possible. Alors, on va attendre.
En même temps, on touche la pièce et en même temps, on regarde la.
Ouais, la pièce pour plus de stabilité en gros. Au pire, tu la remets au milieu, tu refais un réglage et tu le. Ouais, je pense que
This gentleman showed me his swatch, and of course it's matching me today. That is lovely. That is very lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you. The jump hour by Zentier in collaboration with WAQT, and it's rather nice. It caught my attention, and hopefully you can see the sun reflecting off the dial there. Isn't that lovely? That is very, very nice. That is super. So, I was sat next to Alex and we got chatting, and Alex said he has his own, he's built his own watch brand, Manteio. So I think we need to take a look. Thank you for doing this. But first of all, let's see the watch, because I know that you've called it the Zeus, and I love the story behind it. But first of all, I suppose, Alex, tell me a little bit about you first of all, and why you decided to make your own watch.
Yeah, so I'm Alex and I'm an engineer, actually a mechanical engineer, and I was always fascinated by mechanical watches.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to start to build my own watch, and I realized that it's much more difficult than I thought first.
Yeah.
So then I started to design a watch I wanted to design a watch that I can then build with manufacturers together. So I started thinking what type of brand can I create that I could also sell watches. And I was reading Mythos by Stephen Fry at the moment. So I made the connection that I might be able to retell the stories of ancient Greece with métier d'art and different watchmaking skills.
Right.
And so I came up with different designs and concepts, and once I had over 50 concepts for different watches, I was like, yeah, that's something I can build a brand on. And then I decided to do the first watch, Zeus, because Zeus is probably the most well-known character from Greek mythology.
Yeah.
So with this watch, I wanted to show different parts of Zeus's story and of his characteristics. So the dial is completely hand engraved and shows a thunderstorm with an eagle flying through it. Both are symbols of Zeus that are very well known. And then you have the storm clouds in the background, and then the lightning bolt that comes through the middle, and the golden eagle flying through it. Each part is fully hand engraved into a solid gold dial.
Solid gold dial?
Yeah.
Oh, can I ask, how thick is it?
It's only 0.7 millimeters thick, which is actually extremely thin for a solid gold dial.
Okay.
So it was quite a challenge. We had almost 8.5 months to get it to look like this, because it always warped and was too thin to get this level of detail.
So the case is steel?
The case is stainless steel,
But I've often thought to myself, well, I've really appreciated the dial being gold, being precious metal, because of course it has qualities that are excellent for the environment that it's in, and it doesn't contaminate or corrode. So are the indices, are they applied?
They are applied. The eagle is also applied. So the indices are applied raindrops that are like completing the image of the thunderstorm. So you have the raindrop shaped indices that are all falling towards the center.
Right. Hopefully on the video we can see that, but I know that's difficult to achieve from an engineering point of view. But I do like it. I must say that when I glanced at your watch, it looked very established, and I thought to myself, what brand is this? but that's your watch.
Yeah, that's my watch that I designed when I was still in my parents' or in my childhood bedroom. Actually, it was the first sketch I did, because I'm still quite young, and I started about 5 years ago with the first sketches.
Alex, how old are you?
I just turned 26, so yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
That's basically that. So I'm also quite proud of how it turned out at the end, because at first I wasn't sure that I will actually be able to create a watch like that. And then continuing with the case, it's very bold, very broad, to represent the masculinity and the strength of Zeus. So you have the broad lugs with the highly polished facets.
I love the lugs, actually.
They're very distinctive.
Yes. And I understand it has a see-through case back.
Yes, exactly.
Let's take a look. Yes.
And there the story continues, or actually goes back a bit further, because the movement is designed in a way to resemble a honey pot. And the idea behind this is that Zeus was brought up with milk and honey. And the honey he got by Melissa, the honeybee that you can see behind one of the ratchet wheels there, And the milk he got from Amalthea, and Amalthea was a goat nymph, so the strap is made out of goat leather.
Oh wow!
So you have the beehive openings and the bee and the gold coating all to evoke that feeling of the honey pot.
Well, and the movement, that isn't gold as well?
That is gold plated.
It's gold plated,
yes.
okay.
Because the cost would be extremely high to make it from gold.
Wow, but Alex, this is brilliant.
And it's also then traditional watchmaking, so you have the anglage on all the bridges that you can see shining there.
Yeah.
And you have the perlage underneath the balance wheel. You have a 3 Hertz balance with screws to adjust the accuracy.
Yeah. Oh wow, I love this.
And the twin barrels with a 7-day power reserve.
7 day?
Yes.
Oh wow.
So you could wear it as a weekend watch and only wind it up every Friday when you wear it for the weekend.
But 7 days, wow.
Yeah.
So you've really put some time and effort into the design. I'm actually quite blown away. I didn't know it was 7 day and double barrel.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is lovely.
It is made by Chronaut, which is a movement manufacturer led by Jean-François Mongeon.
Yeah.
He is a master watchmaker that's very accomplished.
Yeah.
And so it's based off one of their movements. Yeah. But it is unique to this watch. And at the moment, it's you can see it's the prototype, but it's working like it will be in the series.
Yeah.
There will be some minor changes. The Zeus and numbering will be hand engraved instead of machine engraved, like it is here.
Okay. So how many pieces will there be of the Zeus?
Of the Zeus, only 12 pieces.
Only 12.
Yes.
Of this.
Yes. So it's
okay. So that's nothing.
It's extremely limited.
Oh wow.
And then the next model will be inspired by a completely different god. So I'm currently working then on Athena, and Athena will be 12 pieces. So each of the gods of the Olymp will get a 12-piece model.
Yeah.
And then I will continue on with demigods, with the gods that aren't in the Olymp, and then so on and so on.
Alex.
That's
I love
the basic concept,
Alex, I like your watch, I really do. There are 12, and we've got Zeus to begin with, and oh gosh, it's very good. I'm so impressed that I caught this on video.
Thank you.
Alex, thank you very much. This is lovely to meet you and see your watch.
Thank you.
So, as I'm sat here with my coffee, I've noticed Eternal Gears, and I've just noticed some of this very cool jewellery. Look at this. Now, I've already been told it's actually 18-karat gold with natural diamonds, and the inspiration has come from the watch gears. And it looks very sweet. Anyway, this is Eternal Gears.